fans keenly observing this one, as will be the Phoenix fans across the ditch, as they hope their team can win by 2 clear goals and press up to 4th and dream of a home final rather than missing them altogether, which may well be the consequence of not winning tonight. So let's take a look at how they line up on a night of mass changes for both teams. Central Coast bring in Michael McGlinchey, Jacob Melling, Jordan Murray, Jack Clisby, and a starting debut for Josh Nisbet at the expense of Houle, Payne, O'Neill, Rowles and Simon. For the Wellington Phoenix, in comes former Mariner Anthony Golek and Max Burgess also into the starting 11. The injured Dylan Fox, suspended Alex Rufer, and also Nathan Burns with an injury in the warm-up drop out of the squad. And it means wholesale changes on the bench, potential debuts for Stephen Glassick, Lewis Miller, and also Charles Mombois if they are in the game tonight, while Gianni Stensness would be making his debut along with Callan Elliott for the Wellington Phoenix. Kick-off not far away. In his 170th appointment is Chris Beath, assistants Andrew Lindsay and Kearney Robinson, and the 4th official will be Ben Abraham. And VAR has been the talk of the week through world football. Will the A-League add its name to the list as Chris Griffiths-Jones watches on? There's Roy Krishna. He's 1 goal away from breaking a couple of records, not just the best season tally for him, and also the 2nd highest season tally for a Knicks player, but he'd also become the all-time head-to-head scorer in this particular fixture, currently tied with Paul Eiffel and also Bernie Abini. Michael McGlinchey, a former Wellington Phoenix player. Mike Mulvey, zipping 2 head-to-head against his opposite number, Mark Radan, tonight. The only meetings they've had against each other. And they were both at home for Radan, who now coaches his first game in the A-League at Central Coast Stadium. There is Josh Nisbet on debut. We've seen him come off the bench a couple of times for the Mariners. He's certainly got good techers and close control. We'll see if he can do that from the off tonight and inspire that Central Coast midfield. And Anthony Golek called this stadium home last season. He's now ready to come back and try to haunt his former team and push up into the finals for his new employers. And so all in readiness then. Chris Beath's whistle gets us underway. Central Coast Mariners against the Wellington Phoenix. And it is a huge match for Wellington. As I said on the off, if they win by 2 goals tonight, they'll go 4th. If they lose, they'll be just 2 points above Newcastle Jets from the same number of games played. Robbie Slater, it means that Wellington really have no excuse not to come here and go for it.
Yeah, 4 games without a win, and you know, an opportunity for them against a club that is distanced at the bottom by 8 points, which is something in a 10-team competition. But, you know, for Wellington, 2 points, the re-emergence of Newcastle is a real top 6 threat. They're 2 points ahead of them. They need 3 points here tonight. When you look at the fixtures ahead.
Kaczynski wins possession against McGlinchey. David Williams scored last time these sides met. A dramatic comeback from the Wellington Phoenix from 2-0 down. Mundy. And his crossfield pass to no one in particular is intercepted by Matt Miller. And this Mariners team with so many new faces, they might be in behind early here. Murray has the crowd rising. He wanted to find a teammate rather than go for it himself. He wasn't on the most acute of angles, but just didn't back his ability to hit the target.
I thought he was in a brilliant spot just to pull the trigger there. Yeah, the angle was acute, but that was a wonderful chance. Simple ball over the top. They got the back 3. If you want Durante, they got caught out, caught very flat.
Headed down and does set up a shot. Curto has spilled it! And Luck's a fortune as he recovers in time to dive in front of McGlinchey and deflect it away. And Philip Curto maybe leading the A-League in saves, but that was one of his least convincing so far.
Well, it was a difficult one. I mean, he should have handled it better, but he got up and just about smothered that second effort, but the ball just bounced in front of him on a slippery surface. A lot of rain here today on the Central Coast, but good start from the Mariners.
Murray putting himself about.
But still, for me, that Murray chance, the ball over the top, he's got to hit that. This is the chance for McGlinchey. Didn't really get a hold of it. And either did the goalkeeper. The second attempt, smothered the second attempt.
Bombs away from Sam Graham down the line. There is Jordan Murray. His former club, RBL Leichhardt, kicking off this weekend in New South Wales NPL. He's found the back of the net enough times to suggest that his future is firmly in the A-League now, even though it's come as a member of a team that is beleaguered at the bottom of the A-League. Mark Redan wearing the black skivvy tonight. Must be a little worried with how his team has come out of the blocks through 3 minutes. Jack Clisby, who had that shot a moment ago. Now Nisbet forced forward by the pass from Aspropotamidis. Raking ball into the box. Murray again trying to turn his mark at Golek. And Durante emerges. It's onto the chest of Stephen Mallon, who has put in a couple of teasing balls with that left foot of his already. Phoenix are just trying to repel at the moment as Mallon goes in and commits a foul.
So this is the chance, the ball over the top. And I think there he should be pulling the trigger. Comes back, the chance is gone, really.
Mundy, pass intercepted by Clisby. Karajan, strong work in midfield. Then Miller, legged by Golek. Jonathan Aspropotamidis plays it to Nisbet.
And I should apologise to Jordan Murray, because of course it was Matthew Miller that should have pulled the trigger, that ball over the top.
Karajan. Melling, cleverly out of a tight situation to beat Burgess. And Nisbet's scuffed pass. Not a great deal of energy behind it. Robbie had already spoken to the heaviness of the surface. A humid and greasy day. That is a bit of a lame touch, but Matthew Miller can't make the most of it. Melling sees Clisby out in open space. He's allowed to roam. Phoenix midfield drops off, inviting Clisby on. Defers to Mallon.
Well, they've got an outnumber in just outnumbering Wellington in the middle of the park with that back three, and only really Jordan Murray up there. Kachache and Fenton both defensively drop into that full-back position, so you've got three centre halves just picking up the one player, so that leaves them outnumbered in the middle of the park.
And what was an attack down in an aggressive position has gone all the way back to the goalkeeper and now invites the pressure on. And then a high clearance relieves it, and then there's an errant header from Anthony Golek that perhaps sums up a few poor touches from both teams in the last 60 seconds. Mike Mulvey unmoved on the sidelines. Karajan. Hear the shouts of his teammates wanting the ball. Mallon going to work against Fenton. Now the ball comes in. Golek rose highest. Karajan commits a foul on Burgess. Jumping against a number of players there. Anthony Golick. Not too many of them his former teammates, given the raft of changes to the Mariners team that has taken place not just tonight, but over the course of the season. Kikache, an aggressive throw, trying to open up the pitch. Kupczynski. Louis Fenton. First touch he has to go and chase. Put Kupczynski under pressure. David Williams. Able to squirm his way out of a 1-on-2 almost. Backtracking work from Aspapotamidis. Mundy. Sarpreet Singh to Roy Krishna. And the burst of acceleration from Krishna. It's an own goal. Disaster for Sam Graham. And even though Roy Krishna won't get the credit to his name, it's a goal entirely of his construction.
And that's the danger they have. They've got quality up front with Williams and Krishna at any given moment. And they've, the Mariners have started this opening 8 minutes by far the better. That's a good ball to Krishna, and then he gets one-on-one, and he goes around with ease Melling, flicking that back inside, and Graham's a little bit unlucky, just can't readjust, but the pace, directness of Krishna sets it up. And the Mariners, after a really good start from them, are punished, but Krishna, you just know one-on-one is quality.
No goal celebration, often the case with an own goal. And so Roy Krishna doesn't add his name to the score sheet, but does add his team's. And so, Robbie, do you put that down to the body position of Sam Graham, the technique as he swiped his right foot at the ball, or just a bit of all of it?
Yeah, it's a little bit of all, but he's very close to him when Krishna flicks that with the outside of his right boot and had pace on it. He's a little bit unlucky.
There is the scorer of the own goal. So Central Coast, who had a bright first 7 minutes or so, now have to go and chase a deficit here. You don't need to be a lip reader to know that Melling wasn't happy with that call.
And they had plenty of bodies there defending Krishna, and Krishna able to skip around the outside of Jacob Melling. Of course, is not really a right fullback, really filling in that position, and Krishna just burnt him off. I think Melling got a little bit too close to him. Melling should know how quick Krishna is, because the chances of him skipping inside were limited, because I think they had bodies there.
Kupczynski with the header. Aerial duel, falling the way of the Phoenix. Switch of play. Liberato Kikache against Matt Miller. Melling, Karajan. And there are two Mariners on here. It's a 2-on-2 if they're quick enough. McGlinchey. Murray's his man in the box. Still McGlinchey. Initial shot is blocked by Durante. And then a swipe to try and win the ball back. Legs the ultra-veteran of the A-League.
Well, they broke. They were 2-on-2, and I think the little ball to the back post, Murray had just peeled off to the back post. McGlinchey picks up the ball. He knows he's there, gets his head up, but he elects to come inside and try the shot, which he mishits, and then follows through on Durante and gives away a free kick. A good situation they didn't really use the most of.
Is that the product of McGlinchey's decision-making, or Murray not making a run to actually present a decent offer?
No, I don't think Murray... I think he did. I think he peeled well to the back post, and a little clip to the back post was on, in my opinion.
So the Phoenix are forced to backtrack once again. As Clisby sees the run of Mallon, ignores. Now tries to take on Burgess himself. Credit to Burgess, who stuck to his task all the way to the line. Curto. Onto the head of Aspapotamidis. Golek. Booming return ball, flag stays down. Roy Krishna backs himself with the lob. Oh yes! Still not celebrating. It's a low-key milestone for Roy Krishna. That is the second most goals scored by an individual player in a Wellington Phoenix season. Only Jeremy Brockie now stands ahead of him.
Well, it's a brilliant finish from Krishna. Total mistake from the Mariners defensively. And Kennedy sort of he got caught in no man's land. The ball held up. Here he gets caught out of position. The attempted long ball intercepted by Kakachi. What about that for composure? A brilliant lob from Krishna as Kennedy comes out, and probably shouldn't have, because when Krishna lets that ball bounce, he had defenders coming back on him, so Kennedy's made up the mind for him.
So Krishna finds the back of the net once again, having a great season. And that is the standings. And you'd fancy him to catch Brockie with the remaining games this campaign. And if the first 13 minutes are anything to go by, you wouldn't rule out him drawing a little bit closer even tonight. It's too early. And you feel for the fans of the Central Coast Mariners. This might make for some tough watching already. Wellington Phoenix, though, they'll be feeling good and a bit of relief that maybe there is more on the way. High looping ball. Kakache attacked it from deep. And as he leapt, he had no idea where the ball was. He just threw his body and hoped.
Well, Fenton makes the wrong decision to have another touch. He shouldn't have. That's the one he takes close to the byline. Then it's an easier ball for defenders. But that ball, as he was played in behind, a few steps back from that, he should have whipped that in first time.
They've got this game by the scruff of the neck, Wellington. Can they cash in? Goal difference could be crucial come the final analysis. Radan full of energy on the sidelines, applauding his team on. There's the live table. Wellington up to 4th. That would mean a home final for the first time in a long time, if that's where they end the season.
Well, there's a lot of football to go before that, but certainly a lot of football to go in this as well, because the ironic thing is the Mariners have made the better start. Phoenix have had 2 attacks. Well, they've had a third one with that Fenton cross and scored 2 goals. The second one, first one's the obvious own goal, and the second one's a goalkeeping mistake, in my opinion.
Diagonal ball from Mundy. Wants Krishna. Guarded by Clisby. Mallon. Trying to evade Burgess. It's a bit of hit and hope, but he gets a foul for his trouble. Mariners reset at the centre of defence. Graham. Might even be his first touch since putting it through his own net. The goal that put Wellington in the box seat. Kakache. To the encouragement of his manager to go forward. Williams set a tough task. Hard up against the line. Karaja. Melling. Mallon up for the header. No teammates there in support. Kopczynski combining with Fenton. Kopczynski raking long ball. Williams. Kakache is on the overlap, and he knows he's there. And so the fullback is away. He's shut down. It is a goal kick after the good block.
His touch is, yeah, it's a good block, but his touch is poor because it takes it into that position where the block was always on. So you look at him here, Williams does well, plays him in. Now you look at his touch here, takes it towards the defender instead of just maybe putting it straight, and then he can wrap his boot around it. And you see Krishna absolutely furious.
Krishna's locked in tonight. He's got a real intensity about him that the Mariners, even a couple of the Phoenix players, are lacking. You can tell that he's got the scent of more goals in the nostrils. Given away. Krishna right on cue. Can he add to his tally? It's a save this time from Kennedy as the shot didn't quite force him to stretch.
No, but if it's a little bit more across Kennedy, Kennedy stretching, gathered it quite easily, but a poor decision from Melling to try and hit that crossfield straight to Krishna. And still they allowed Krishna to get that shot off.
Miller gives himself up, knew that he handled the ball. The handball rule's certainly been a big bone of contention this week as well.
Might not be what a lot of people like, but I think when you're fragile mentally and defensively in particular, I think you're better off just going long from that position Melling was. You know, in those early minutes, they had success going long. Miller had a chance that he didn't opt to take the shot on.
I think our piece of refs are concerned that they weren't getting a wide enough shot for the offside number.
Phoenix dropped deep off Kennedy. Long clearance. Going. Made the ball his. Sarpreet Singh with a bit of grunt. Mundy. Golek. Not a pass you'd advise too often. Backwards through your own penalty area, but Kapczynski makes it work. Now Nisbet. Mariners midfield have been starved of possession during the last 10 minutes or so. Karajan gets a knock. It's one that he's back up from, though. And Mallon is away here. Great little burst from Stephen Mallon. But the cross is over the head of Miller. Recovering it in a 1-on-2. And even though he sold the contact for all it was worth, the referee does oblige with a foul.
Well, it looked like just a throw-in, really. It didn't look like a free kick. The referee's assistant flagged straight away. Good work from Mallon there. Just mishit his cross, and it was a good situation. They had Murray in there, Miller coming in at the back.
So now Anthony Golek, who last season would have been the primary target at a Mariners set piece, becomes the main obstacle they have to overcome here if they want to score. Pack of players awaiting Jack Clisby's delivery. Whipped in at the near post and dealt with comfortably enough. Kakache to Williams. And his touch taking him backwards caused a bit of trouble. Central Coast will get possession. Karajan. McGlinchey. Wheeling around, but going backwards. Graham, loose first touch. Krishna on and in a flash. Sarpreet Singh has Williams breaking into open field. David Williams pulls the trigger. It's 3. And the record books are shaking as Wellington Phoenix disappear out of sight.
What do we say about being fragile defensively? This time it's Graham with a massive mistake, and they're 3-on-1. I mean, as he takes this ball, it's a regulation trap, miscontrols it, and they're away. They're 3-on-1. Right decision from Singh. Perfect pass, cuts inside and dispatches it into the back of the net. And Wellington already nearly out of sight after, what, 21 minutes, 22nd minute. Composed, comes back onto his left foot. Never going to miss. Sarpreet Singh waited to pass and waited to lay it off. Perfect timing from him.
Williams nets. Wellington Phoenix have only won by 3 clear goals away from home 4 times in the history of the A-League. They are 3-0 up after 22 minutes. So their biggest away win, the Phoenix, 5-2 away to Western Sydney in 2016, 4-1 here against the Central Coast in 2014, and a couple of 3-0s away to Victory and Newcastle, respectively. They have never won by 4 clear goals away from home. And with 70-odd minutes of this match to go, it is looking like how far Wellington at the moment. Not just because of the play of Central Coast, but the finishing of Wellington so far is cashed in. And they are getting maximum damage every time they go forward. As Karajan has an argument here with Chris Beath, and he's talked his way into the book. And that will add insult to injury for the Central Coast Mariners.
Well, that's just the lack of discipline in the free kicks given. No matter what you say, he's not going to change it. And that's disappointing. It's frustration, but you know, he's a player of experience. You've got a lot of you've got young players out there. The more experienced players need to lead by example. Not sure if you're getting that at home, but there's a few Mariners fans saying we are staying up. Well, they are, because there's no relegation. But if ever there is a call or an example why relegation would be...
Well, hold on, because there might be more pain on the way. It was a backwards header that allowed Williams in, and then a ricochet almost sitting up for Fenton. It's a goal kick to the Mariners' relief, but the sort of comedy defending we've seen so far, you wouldn't put it past them conceding another one almost by accident there.
Now, if you look at this, they're in possession of the ball, but Aspro's not even there. Clisby's very, very high. Now, look, I know they're in good possession, but when you're fragile defensively, I'm just not sure if you can leave so many players not at home, if you want to put it like that. Aspro was the one with the pass, of course.
Williams, Krishna, saved by Kennedy, but here's the follow-up, and he makes another good save to deny Sarpreet Singh what would have been number 4.
Yeah, took it first time, and that was the right thing to do, but Mariners just all over the shop. Krishna could have had his second. Just a straight ball through. It's got too much pace on Aspro, and the follow-up shot from Singh, he thought he'd score, but that's a really good save from Kennedy.
Embattled goalkeeper Ben Kennedy at the moment. A corner to defend here. Mandy backed himself, but Karajan was right on his case. Clisby caught by Kopczynski, combining with Singh. Kopczynski and Singh making the run in behind. This time turned out for a corner or a throw. Right,
well, it's just far too easy. Wellington, it's like knife through butter at the moment. Seeing that run, you could see it from here, the run he was going to make, and he just wasn't tracked. And they're lucky that neither Williams nor Krishna attacked the near post.
It was a throw in the end. The result of which we're seeing here. Krishna back to Williams. Phoenix conceding territory to get some breathing room. The Mariners expand out. Not too ambitiously the defence though. Golick. Back to Philip Curto. Mariners players wouldn't dare look up at the scoreboard and see that it's only the 27th minute. There is still a long way to go until halftime. Mundy popping long balls left and right. Kakache. Krishna breezed through the channels. He was ignored. Singh was not. Contact. Play continues. Burgess. Kakache. And now Burgess. Mundy. Kopczynski. That one just caught Fenton flat-footed.
Well, the fans there look on their faces, and they deserve better. And the club, I don't know what sort of direction it is taking. There's 8 points at the bottom of the table. There's been decisions made and plays brought in, and look, Samuel Graham was at fault for that goal, of course, a miscontrol, and along with Mallon has come across from Sheffield United, and for me it's nothing against those boys, but why would we be developing young English players when we're supposed to be developing young Australian players? If you're going to bring foreigners, they must be of quality, and it's something the FFA and the PFA need to look at, the criteria of what should be allowed to come in.
Ball from Mundy again. He's just loving the chance to deliver to distance. And the foul here as the step over lures in Clisby.
And these fans at this stadium deserve answers as well. And the crowds have dropped off, and look, today it's been raining a lot, but still, no family wants to go and take your kids or anyone, not even families, but you don't want to go to a game of football on a Saturday night for entertainment and continually go home disappointed because you lose. They've won one game all season. It's not good enough.
Now up against an opponent with absolutely no reason to show any sympathy or mercy. Williams has camped himself offside. In the absence of Stephen Taylor, why not? And so here comes the free kick. And it's on the line and held. Just that close for Krishna.
Well, free header, he should have scored. He knows it, and it's still a really good save, but he just comes in late, gets in between two defenders, heads the ball down, and the only place, apart from outside of the goal, where he wasn't going to score from that distance was to give Kennedy a shot at it, and he did, and Kennedy did very, very well because there was a lot of power on it. But a half a yard either way, it was a goal, but again, who's marking Krishna?
Well, I ask you, is Williams standing offside like that, almost like a distraction? Is he interfering with play? Because Krishna's run straight past him, almost using him as a screen, like in basketball.
No, Teo, no.
I'm just trying to make a case.
Well,
you've emphatically shut it down. So we move on with Williams, and that will be a corner kick. And so the defending continues. Clisby's down here.
So here's the ball in. No question.
I suppose no marker followed him, so...
Goes in, it's a goal.
How does the marker just let Krishna get a free run like that? Someone goes and stands next to him prior to the free kick being taken.
Because they're fragile, they have no confidence, and it's, heads are down. And Krishna just reacts quickly, and they're a dejected bunch at the moment.
Let's go down as Clisby receives treatment to field level, and Glenn Lauder.
Teo, good evening to you. Yeah, Jack Clisby gave away a foul over on the eastern touchline a couple of minutes ago, and it looked like it was pretty heavy leg-on-leg contact. He's got a huge lump on that right shin, so we'll keep an eye on Jack Clisby. But I've been keeping an eye on Mark Rudan, and he has just been relentless on the Wellington Phoenix bench this afternoon. Ruthless is the call. He wants plenty more goals this evening.
Not a surprise, Glenn. Thanks for the update. We wait on Clisby. Mariners temporarily down a player and a defender as they face yet another corner. And a short one at that. Singh bending it in. And it's to two Mariners. Graham with an up and under, though. Doesn't clear the lines initially. Now Karajan trying to knee it on. Bandy taking preventative action just to boot it back to Curto. Durante. Fenton. Clisby still off. Kopczynski. Mallon has dropped into left back as a result. And they're going, the Phoenix, to work that flank. See Clisby there in the background as Mallon guards his corner of the pitch. Singh. Mariners players in each other's way, and Nisbet had the ball taken off his toes. Sarpreet Singh And it's blocked by Aspropotamidis. And trying to escape is Mallon. He's got a good turn of pace, Stephen Mallon. He was grabbed there by Sarpreet Singh. The advantage has been given, and it will be accompanied by a yellow card for the professional foul. Singh goes in the book. And he can have no arguments.
Well, Jordan Murray was the happiest out of that result, because I'm not sure what picture he saw as he laid that ball back straight to a Wellington Phoenix player. So Singh chasing, Mallon nice and positive, cuts inside. Yeah, there's the shirt pull. Good decision from Chris Beath.
Interesting that Singh does get the booking. I saw our colleague from Sky New Zealand, Jason Pine, say that tonight Fenton, Singh and Krishna all came into tonight on 4 yellows, but after tonight the threshold for a 1-game ban increases to 8 yellows. So Singh now gets suspended. But of course, if Fenton and Singh can avoid, if Fenton and Krishna can avoid a booking, they will then have a considerable more amount of leeway for the remainder of the home and away season. Anyway, Sarpreet now has a week off after the matter of this game is done. Ben Kennedy. Melling. Miller. Murray behind Durante. And he's protecting the ball. And then it's set up almost. But a few groans from the stands as Jordan Murray is penalised.
Yeah, it's a little bit harsh, isn't it? Because Durante's trying to shield the ball out, and again, he's not going to change his mind. He's got a yellow card, but you know what? I'm sort of thinking that's okay, what Jordan Murray did. You see, Durante, it's very early to be trying to shield that one out. I think he gets around the back of him. Clearly got the ball. I think that's a bit harsh.
And as we take a look at his response, that merited a booking. So that's 2 Central Coast players, Karajan and Murray, on a yellow card for dissent. 3 issued so far. Interesting to note, the only red card that's been shown in 36 matches now between these teams actually came last time the teams met. Had been, prior to that, one of the very best behaved head-to-heads in the entire A-League. A couple of players now don't want to add their name to the list, which is 1 player only, Kai Rolls, who ironically is out tonight. Max Burgess. You can see the confidence flowing through this Phoenix team, how they've missed it. Came into tonight on a bit of a barren run. Mandy, Kakache, offside. Interesting that draws the Bronx cheer. Not sure what Kearney Robinson may have done to draw the ire of the home fans. 10 minutes plus stoppage until half-time. That is an agricultural challenge from Kaczynski, and even though he's trying to claim he was hurt, he can't fool the referee. That is as blatant a yellow card as you'll get.
Yep, you need to burn him off for speed. He was away, Mallon.
His speed has definitely asked some questions of this Phoenix defence. Kaczynski goes in the book. The yellow cards continue to pile up. Aspropotamidis. Not the worst idea. Curto is there before Murray. Kaczynski. Krishna. Phoenix throw. Curious back pass. Golick and Durante raffled it. Eventually, Golick took responsibility. And now Sarpreet Singh, such an easy pass, cutting through the midfield. And Williams, the touch, not able to bring it under his control. It's just 2 incisive passes and they were almost away. McGlinchey to Mallon. Crowd urging him on. Stephen Mallon. And he runs into a cul-de-sac of 3 Wellington players. But luck's a fortune. It breaks out. Karajan. The crowd wants him to shoot. And he puts it into the scoreboard rather than the net.
Well, you had a lot of space. His first touch wasn't the best there to set it up because it took him sideways. See, that ball goes sideways, so he sort of has to swivel almost to hit it, and he can't control it.
Graham crashes through with the header. Almost winded himself in doing so, and thus, with the ball unexpectedly passed to his feet, he coughs it up. So the Phoenix down the right side. Fenton to Burgess, who has been full of energy in this first half. Relishing the chance to start a game in the absence of Alex Rufer, who's out suspended tonight. Golek. Burgess in space. A little step over. And he goes for it. Some real velocity on that shot, and it took a deflection. Corner kick.
Yeah, nice and positive. Having a really good first half. This time he's got the simple ball out to the right, a little step over, and decides to take it on himself. And a slight touch of Mariners defender, and they get a corner. It was Aspro.
Four corners to none so far. This one picks out the goalkeeper. Goes for the double fist. Mandy leads Nisbet to the ball. Fenton. Golek. Kikauche. Graham this time is sure of foot. Burgess. Hurried into the pass to Singh. Misses Williams this time. Nisbet and Mallon. That pass misses its target as well, and so the goalkeeper will have to clean up. Goes Golek. Not the cleanest of headers, but he drove it forward. Karajan with a bit of a grab from Burgess wins a foul. Taken quickly. Mallon. Can't escape Fenton. Coming into tonight, Wellington hadn't won here at Central Coast Stadium since 2014. Right now they are 3 goals to the good, 5 minutes plus stoppage until half-time. Miller. Murray. Nisbet. Always wanted to send it wide. Mallon with the referee in the way of Nisbet. And then he slides in late, commits a foul, gets a yellow card. Even though he was treading on Chris Beath's toes initially, his desperation to get to the ball does receive a sanction.
A bit harsh as well for me. Clearly gets the ball there. It's just as a momentum. I don't think there's anything deliberate.
So Josh Nisbet now has to watch out on his starting debut. Willow was the shout. David Williams wasn't really sure what to do when the pass arrived with a bit of a hot potato. And so Central Coast can build. Murray with a snapshot. And on the turn, he draws a save out of Curto. Kikauche. Williams. Krishna. Late slide from Mallon was enough to interrupt the pass. Clisby sends it to Murray. Wellington defence backtracking. Murray will allow them to do so as he defers to Mallon. You know what's coming, a left-footed cross. Golick set himself, got up for it. And now a volley. Miller denied. Went for the spectacular. Straight into the pack of players. Burgess shuffles it on. Mandy. Mariners tonight missing Aidan O'Neill in midfield after his red card last game. He was the leader of all their passing stats for the season. His absence is noteworthy with the freedom that Mandy has had just to do as he pleases for the most part. Now the pace of the game slows down even in an advanced area for Wellington. Sing against Nisbet. Battle of the bantamweights there. It's fallen the Mariners' way. Stephen Mallon. Almost a pinpoint pass to Miller. Winger to winger. Instead, Kakache. Shallow clearance. Miller's got it back for Central Coast. Can't find a way past the defender on this occasion, who redeems himself for the giveaway. As he cries for a foul, Central Coast remain on the ball. Carriger. Over to Clisby. Clisby's ball, Miller mishit it, and then a good save from Curto. May not have known much about it, but his reflexes have denied Jordan Murray.
And that's the type of chance that someone like Jordan Murray thrives on. Sort of arrived to him fortuitously, and he should have buried it. 7 yards out, nearly in front of the goal. Curto didn't know much about it, just an outstretched foot.
Is there a glimmer of hope for the Mariners if they can peg one back before the break? Curto this time emphatic. Mallon sat up for his trusty left, but couldn't beat the near defenders. Now Kakache, Fenton moving it on quickly. Burgess out the right. Last 30 seconds of regulation. Good run from Krishna, breaking the lines. Williams waits in the box, and the cross is sent well behind him.
Well, Williams had made the run to the near post he was on. I'm not sure what he saw there, Krishna, but it was the wrong decision. Counter-attack from Wellington. They didn't make the most of that.
Walking the Mariners here, as that one skims off the head and slides out.
It's that chance swung in by Clisby. It's Miller coming in at the back, and then Durante through his legs, and 7 yards out. Should have buried that, Jordan Murray. Would have given them something to go in at half-time.
Got to say, it was a total mishit from Matt Miller as well. Would have been a fortuitous assist. And Murray buried the finish. Quarter of the way through 2 additional minutes then. As Burgess with a beautifully measured pass. It sits up for Krishna. The net's unguarded. Still Roy Krishna! 4. What a half! Wellington Phoenix have got their groove back.
What a pass from Max Burgess. Look at this. Talk about defence splitting. And Krishna gets a second go at it. Kennedy stops him initially, comes back. Looks like the chance may have been gone. And what about that for a finish? Into the top corner. What about that pass from Burgess? Brilliant defence splitting pass. There you think it might be gone, but then he dispatches that. Like a missile into the back, into that top corner. And 4 in the just at the end of the first half to break the Mariners' hearts. And they could have got one back through Jordan Murray at the other end. Well, Mike Mulvey has got a big half-time team talk ahead of him to lift these players for the second half. You can't leave space in behind when you've got a player like Kushner, his pace.
Well, in a week where Mike Mulvey and the Central Coast tried to make a disciplinary stand, Andrew Hall suspended for reasons made public. Connor Payne absent for reasons we're still digging to get answers for. Williams is down here. The team has not responded the way that anyone in the Central Coast hierarchy would have hoped. In fact, they've gone completely the other way. This is a vote of no confidence. And that doesn't need to be my opinion. The scoreboard says it all. Williams here with a little knock. We've gone 30 seconds beyond the allocated 2 minutes. I suspect that might be the end of his first half prematurely. And indeed, the halftime whistle arrives. As things stand, Wellington Phoenix are on course for their biggest ever away win. They have never won by 4 clear goals away from home. They have done it in a half of football here tonight. Roy Krishna with 2 of them. It all started with an own goal. It goes from bad to worse for the Central Coast Mariners. Wellington won't care. They are firmly in control at the moment. They've retaken 4th for now. And this may reignite their finals charge. The question is how much more pain is on the way in the second 45 for the home team. Half-time then, it's Central Coast Mariners 0, Wellington Phoenix 4.
Welcome to my
Central Coast Mariners hosting Wellington Phoenix. Changes aplenty for Central Coast. 5 of them into the starting 11. Michael McGlinchey, Jacob Melling, Jordan Murray, Jack Clisby, and a starting debut for Josh Nisbet as Hull, Payne, Aidan O'Neill, Rolls and Simon all make way. For Wellington Phoenix, Anthony Golek and Max Burgess into the starting 11 for the injured Dylan Fox and the suspended Alex Rufer.
Now, please make welcome back to the field, your Central Coast Mariners.
And where to from here? Thank you, Tara, as we see travelling Knicks fans who will be in dreamland at the moment. Their team has never been in a position as muscular as this one. Never mind at the start of a second half. There's still potentially 45 minutes of fun and frivolity to come for Wellington fans and for Central Coast Mariners Who knows? Robbie Slater, where to from here?
Well, for the Mariners, it's about pride. For the fans that have come here tonight, and for themselves as professional footballers, to try and put on a performance and at least win the second half.
Krishna with a flick header here. And Graham backtracking. Just glanced at enough to find his teammate Jack Clisby. The Phoenix coming out of the sheds, trying to keep the intensity high. You can see Krishna here, freewheeling onto the ball. Kikache. Golic.
And for Wellington, of course, it's about being exactly what their coach wanted them to be, being ruthless. You know, the goal difference could play a major part in the positioning of the top six.
Well, it already has tonight. 2 was enough to bump them up to 4th, so Melbourne City and Adelaide United fans won't be thrilled. Durante. Kupczynski. Louis Fenton. Mandy. Kupczynski. Now a weaving run for the Polish import, but no end product. And as Burgess blazes away, Kupczynski's going to get it back. All the way back to Philip Curto. He's just been hurried here, had to go to ground. The long ball hunting Williams. Kennedy lured out of his area. As it breaks central, it's a completed pass to McGlinchey, and now Nisbet to Clisby. He goes through the gate of 2 players. Tried to pop on a pass, but Durante was there for the Phoenix. Now Max Burgess. Kikache murdering forward. And linking up with Sarpreet Singh, but getting in the way. Defending was Melling, and now the shot from distance high over the bar. And it gives us a chance to check in with Glenn Lauder, who caught up with Mark Radan.
Mark, 4 goals against an opponent that are where they are. Is complacency your biggest threat in the second half?
It was over the last couple of weeks, since the last game that we've played, and like I said, the attitude was good in the first half. It needs to be just as good, if not better, in the second half.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Mike, they were going to want to be inspirational words at half-time to turn that around. What did you say, and how do you do it?
Well, first of all, it was men against boys in the first half, and it's all about character in the second half.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Thanks, mate.
Interesting, the facial expression from Mike Mulvey there, taken aback, you'd have to say, by Glenn Lauder. It's not like that would have been an unexpected question when you walk out of the sheds and your team is 4-0 down. Still, let's see if the Mariners can come up with a response. Nisbet. Mallon. Fenton attempting to clear from deep in the corner. Gifted it straight to Clisby. And the header. Miller away from his own goal in the end. Karajan backtracking. One of a number of players on a yellow card from that first half. 5 in total walking the tightrope at the moment. Williams. Saw Fenton making a break for it. There's a lung-busting run from Louis Fenton. Taking Mallon with him all the way deep into defence. Krishna. Kupczynski. Durante. Kupczynski. The pass will stay in with a bit of bend and spin on impact for Krishna. And he steers it low. Williams, the step over. They're queuing up. It's 5. It's 5. And it's Liberato Cacace with a big smile on his face.
Well, it's brilliant play from Krishna. He gave it up. He thought that ball down the line was going out, and it stayed in. This is the ball in question. Mike Mulvey's asking whether it bent out, then back in. There you see the hesitation. And this one low and hard into Williams, who quite cleverly dummies that one. And that's a really good finish from Cacace. Dispatches that into the bottom right-hand corner. Here's Krishna. He's got his head up. He's looking for Williams, who cleverly dummies it. And it's 5.
He's waited until game 26 for his maiden A-League goal. And with a finish like that, you wouldn't be surprised if there's more on the way. That was with time, with space, still very nicely placed into the corner. And he'll be hoping that is the first of many. His maiden A-League goal, Liberato Cacace. A real darling of the Phoenix fans. You'd have to say he's probably one of their most popular players since Marco Rojas. The Phoenix supporters have adopted him that much as one of their own. Of course, significant difference between a left back and an attacking midfielder. Kiwi Messi, as he was known in his time in the A-League, but still, that is goal number 1 for Cacace. And you suspect it is the first of maybe even more in this second half. Fenton, could it be 2 in quick succession? Well, this time it was Burgess who took on the shot, and it's behind for a corner.
They were queuing up at the back. Good ball from Fenton. Whipped that one in. Didn't try to beat his defender, who was already in the space. And Burgess, who had an excellent first half, and you see all the Mariners defenders attracted to the near post, and they left 2 at the back post. And it's Melling that gets the block.
Armando Sosa Pena, Mandy to take the corner. It's a flat drifter, Williams, and nearly Golek. Could have been, maybe should have been 6. And so, enter a debutant, Charles Mbombwa. He's coming on here for Michael McGlinchey. Turns 21 on Thursday, Congolese heritage. And his junior club was Greystanes in Sydney's West. That's where he was a little tacker. And then he grew up at Mount Druitt Town before going to the Central Coast Academy. Makes his A-League debut in less than enviable circumstances, with his team 5-0 down. Still, I'm sure everyone at Greystanes FC will be incredibly proud of this young man who gets onto the pitch in the A-League. Talk about a no-win situation, though, Robbie. Here, make your debut.
Yeah, not the nicest circumstances, but still an exciting moment for him.
Late contact here, and the howl of agony says it all. Melling. Another card. That's now 4 for the home team. And Cacace. Yeah, the comment, get up, son. No sympathy shown for him. Only 9 minutes into the second half. Central Coast with a number of players on a card. Cacace won't want to leave this game. He's got 1 goal. Having a good night.
Yeah, late and high for Melling.
In a week where Roy Krishna has now moved to the top of the Golden Boot with his double tonight. Can he break clear? You see Lafondra there level. Keogh, Barbarousis and Taggart, Toivonen. Some good names there, and they're all delivering, finding the back of the net. All playing for teams, bar Taggart, that are in the top 6 conversation. Of course, Taggart now having departed the Raw, he's not going to add to that tally. Kikache's back on his feet, and due to it being a yellow card, he's allowed to stay on the pitch. Doesn't have to wait for the referee to wave him on. Only 10 minutes of the second half negotiated for Central Coast as they try to stem the bleeding here. The wildebeest has fallen, and Wellington are feasting on the carcass at the moment. Goek. Kikache right back into the thick of it. Mbobwa with a header forward. Should correct myself, Mombwa. This time it is out from Mallon. See here his attempt to flick it onto his own advantage. Fenton wouldn't let him roll past. And here is Louis Fenton, bending it back to Kikache. Test of that ankle that took a knock a moment ago. Seems sturdy. And so Max Burgess against Jem Karajan. Mandy. Singh. Kupczynski. So much space. Aaron is not closing any gaps at the moment. Sarpreet Singh, free rein to roam. And Singh, it's 6.
That's ridiculous.
It's a half dozen, and we're not even at the hour mark. The record books were rattling in the first half. The pages are billowing into the air in the second.
Well, the press didn't work, and they went straight through it, and Mandy found himself in acres of space as Mallon went probably too late. And then Mandy just plays in Singh, who just goes, they back off him, he shoots. Maybe saw it a bit late, because I don't think he really caught it as well as he would have liked. Young Nisbet chasing him. Aspro comes too late. And a bit flat-footed, Ben Kennedy.
And the shout of "let's go again, let's go" is the cry from Mark Radan on the sidelines as Sarpreet Singh. A bit of a screwdriver shot. It's one of those iconic shots, 6, but not even 60 minutes on the clock. How much worse is this going to get? As of right now, the Mariners, 6 is the most they've lost by in an A-League game. That 8-2 against Newcastle last season. They've never lost by 7. You wouldn't fancy their chances of repairing the damage from here, but it's a forward 4-8. Mombu was waiting in the middle. And Roy Krishna is waiting on the slingshot. Can they counter-attack? Pass in front of Fenton. He made the ball his. Through Karajan he went. Sarpreet Singh. Williams calling for it at the back stick. Instead, it's Fenton. It's 7! 7-0! What are we witnessing here? Lunacy!
Well, the hunger from Fenton makes this goal because Karajan was there. But Fenton, he's more hungry. He wants that ball more. And he doesn't just admire his slide tackle, he keeps going. But what about the work of Singh? Brilliant disguised pass. And a good finish, I think, goes between the legs of Ben Kennedy. But it's beyond embarrassment now. Watch this Singh, little disguised pass. The run from Fenton. Through the legs of Kennedy.
Louis Fenton, his 3rd of the season, just his 7th A-League goal across a 104-game career. And a goal that he made, really. So Fenton adds his name to the scorers. 7-0. How many more are on the way? All of a sudden, the stat nerds and those who just love a shellacking all of a sudden are reaching for their remotes because Twitter is exploding. It's 7-0 and it's only the hour mark. Hey, check out the A-League. History's being made here. For all the wrong reasons for Central Coast, but Wellington Phoenix, these 11 men know that they might be about to put themselves in some footage that's going to get rolled again and again and again for years and years. Never mind that it's 7, could be more, could even be double figures. Oh, desperate from Graham, had to make that intervention as Williams was nearly in behind. Melling. Mombois. Mariners trying to build. Charles and Mombois. Stephen Mallon and Clisby. Still willing to get some numbers forward here, Central Coast. Clisby goes for it! Oh! 7-1. Jack Clisby comes up with a goal.
Well, he just pushed on, and I'm sure through his mind he says, well, I may as well. And it's a sweet strike with his wrong foot. It's not his strongest foot. He's pretty much all left-footed, cuts inside, and Wellington a little bit lazy and closing down quick enough. Full stretch, Curto. Can't get close to it, in off the post. That's a really good strike. Cuts inside, nothing really on. He bends that with a bit of power as well. That's a really good finish from Clisby. Gives them something, the fans, and the cannon's gone off.
And for just his second goal in 112 A-League games, that is very, very nice. Jack Clisby, take a bow. It is scant consolation as far as repairing the scoreboard, but at least it's not 7-0. Jack Clisby's only other A-League goal was back in January of last year against Adelaide. Mallon. So Mark Rodan, who was encouraging his team to go on with the job, now will actually have the ammunition to give his team a barrel if he wishes to, because they have conceded. That might actually re-energise the Phoenix even more. For now, though, the confidence is with Central Coast. Melling. Can they strike while the iron is hot? Fenton steers it back to Curto, and that was out of bounds.
Yeah, looked out there.
That was out of bounds.
Looked clearly up.
Well, we had a bird's eye view. It's not the sort of matter that VAR need get involved with, of course. Not a game-changing decision, so play continues. Taking another look, Robbie.
Clearly up.
The all-action style of Philip Curto. Bit of chutzpah against the line, just to maybe obstruct the view of the assistant referee. We've already had one debut for Central Coast tonight. Another one is being readied on the sidelines for the Phoenix now. Callan Elliott on the way, potentially. Next break and play. Mariners would love to welcome him with their second goal. Mombois sends it out to Mallon. Booming left-footed ball, bending all the way around. Central Coast stay on the attack. Over the head of Mombois, but behind for a corner off Fenton. And such is the superstition, Central Coast won't make, Wellington won't make the sub while defending a corner. Jack Clisby, the Mariners' goal scorer, will take this corner kick. In at the near post. Graham threw himself at the ball. Couldn't send it towards the target, however. And And a foul by Williams. And that will prompt the sub. So the 19-year-old from Tasman United in the New Zealand Premiership, Callan Elliott, gets to make his A-League debut. Was only included on the bench as a late injury replacement for Nathan Burns, who got hurt in the warm-up. And now he gets to make his debut with his team 7-1 up, replacing Louis Fenton. Great moment for this youngster from New Zealand. Central Coast take the free kick wide because Mallon's left peg might be their best avenue to further goals as it's batted away by Curto. And now guarding against the counter-attack becomes priority number one. Clisby does so.
Well, it looked clearly a Mariners throw, didn't it? To me, Mariners a bit of energy since scoring that goal. A decent little period.
Systems on both sides in the firing line for the fans at present as Burgess directs it left. Kakache. Back to Burgess. Now Golick. Burgess again. Kakache. Wellington have come unstuck. Jordan Murray wins the ball, but is outpaced by the back-tracking Kakache, who then coughs it back up. The duel continues back and forth. And rolled to Mombois. He's blocked straight off the boot. Aspropotamidis has to be careful, sets it out in front of Nisbet, and then Melling. Jacob Melling, Mombois, Melling again, free kick, right in shooting range. With Andrew Hall suspended, who will step up to take?
A good forceful run from Melling. A give and go and a late challenge gives them a really good spot. This free kick. And Melling looking for the return pass of Mombois. And clearly a foul, and you're right, no Andrew Hall. He's been excellent in those set pieces, and it was Mandy committing that foul.
There is Andrew Hall, watching from the naughty corner. Club-imposed suspension. And so, Clisby, Mallon and Murray all stand over this free kick. So make it 7-2. It's Mallon! It is 7-2! Great strike. And the Englishman on loan shows what he can do over a dead ball.
And Curto will be disappointed with that, because that's the side he's protecting. The wall is for the other side. If he bends it over the wall and gets it in that other side, you put your hand up, but that side, he's got to be, and he's too central, middle of the goal. It's a goalkeeping mistake, but decent strike from Mallon, and now got a couple of goals. Crazy game.
Just his fourth A-League game. He gets his maiden A-League goal. And the Central Coast players not playing tonight. Well, yet to crack a smile, and neither is Mallon either. But he has found the back of the net this evening. And the repairing continues. It was 7-0 before the hour. It's now 7-2 in the 70th minute. If they keep going at this rate, it might be 7-6 by full time. Krishna. Mallon. Kopczynski. Krishna. Max Burgess. Mandy. Out-hassled by Karajan. Central Coast have numbers breaking. Stephen Mallon. Challenge came in, and it's the youngster Elliott who won the ball. Well played by him. Mandy to Krishna. Great little evasive work, and Roy Krishna turns on the afterburners, but he can't outpace.
Well, he had Singh and Williams. He's gone the selfish option. He's quick, but not that quick, but he had Singh in a beautiful pocket on the right-hand side.
Mallon. Mombois. Attempted to thread through Clisby. If anything, you feel like the little bit of feistiness that the Mariners have shown in this game should suit the Phoenix, because they are committing a few numbers forward, and yet the counter-attack hasn't quite worked the same way in the last 10 minutes or so. Burgess. It's an energetic slide challenge from Millen.
No, well, what's happened, I think they've taken the foot off the pedal in some respects, and you know, they got the 7th goal, and I thought, well, you know, it's all so easy. And the Mariners have got a couple back, and they've got a bit of energy. They've got a lot of youngsters on there that have come on. Lewis, Mombois, already Nisbet out there, and they're hungry for some action.
So we take a look at the membership slogan of the Central Coast. The fans have had something to cheer tonight, at least. A couple of goals. A couple of very good goals, it must be said. Clisby's is a corker. And a miss from Durante. Mallon. Mombois is unable to play the ball as the tall Golek rises above, and now contact here has left Jordan Murray fallen. And the trainer is out.
Header from Golek, and I think it's Mandy coming in. He's caught him with his shoulder.
Mandy having a word with Mark Radan against the sidelines. No doubt assessing the change in the tone of this game. And it's a drop ball to restart proceedings as Mike Mulvey watches on, waits for Jordan Murray to be given the tick of approval from the medical staff, and he is. Back onto the pitch he goes. Still hunting yet more goals on a night that's given us 9 so far.
And of course 9 goals, as you mentioned, Teo, in that game you mentioned, the Mariners losing 8-2 to Newcastle on the very last round, round 27 last season here in Gosford, is a record. So that record is on the line.
You'd hate to think that either team's going to put the cue in the rack from here. There's certainly no reason for the Phoenix to. Central Coast have gotten frisky after falling 7-0 down. Clisby got it all started. Graham. Karajan. Mombois. So this is Lewis Miller. With Karajan. Down by Murray, Mombois. Cleared away by Kopczynski. Graham. Kopczynski's throw. debut. Elliott. Sarpreet Singh. Nisbet. Clisby. Gifted back to Wellington. Golek. Kikache. He's been in the wars but continues on. Elliott. Burgess. Phoenix happy to knock the ball around, working side to side, but not forward with any great purpose, as that giveaway shows. Charles Mombois to Jem Karajan. And now Melling. Ball's there to be won. Mallon first to it. A bit of keepy-uppy. Couldn't keep it going, though. Williams. Kopczynski. And Burgess. Off Mombois. I mean, as we wait for one sub to come through, there's the most recent one, Lewis Miller, just 18 years old, on A-League debut. His junior club was Pittwater RSL Football Club, green and white stripes. And as the Mariners make their third and final change, it's Peter Kakeris who comes on for Josh Nisbet. So we won't see the potential third of the new faces off the bench. Michael Glassick will have to wait for another time to make his A-League debut. But we do have Charles Mombois and also Lewis Miller getting their first taste of A-League football tonight. Graham. Mombois. Melling, Murray. A question of the finish, and straight at Curto.
Yeah, pulled off nicely to the back post. Decent first touch and got the strike on and straight at Curto. Relieved that that comes straight at him. Didn't have much to see, only had that right-hand side of the goal.
Ernie Merrick watches on. Given that both teams' defences have been pulled apart at times, he'll have plenty to assess as his own team tries to fire its way into the top six. Krishna. And desperation from Clisby. Burgess held off Mombois and fouled him in doing so. I know there's a lot of games to go, Robbie, but if you're Ernie Merrick, which team do you fancy yourself catching? Could it be City? Could it be Adelaide? Or is it still Phoenix?
Well, he won't care. All he wants to do is catch one of them, and he's not going to concentrate too much on that. He's got to concentrate in the next game. That's all Newcastle can do, is win the games they've got to play.
Of course, they were so good against Melbourne Victory down in Geelong. If they keep producing efforts like that, then you'd think all three of those teams still within touching distance of Newcastle wouldn't be feeling completely secure about their spot in the top six. It's Phoenix's run. Western Sydney, resurgent Western Sydney at home. Then Newcastle in a crucial game, a big six-pointer. Adelaide away could yet prove to be absolutely vital. It was acrimonious last time they met over there. And then Brisbane and Melbourne City on the final day. For all we know, that could yet be finals a week early as well. Huge run to the line. As the sub goes through, David Williams comes off. And it is Killian Sheridan who gets a chance. Still one available sub left for the Phoenix. Ryan Larry and would-be debutant Gianni Stensness wait in the wings. Along, of course, with their backup goalkeeper, Oliver Sale. And here's Sarpreet Singh, just caught in possession by Melling. Kopczynski. Elliott, no go. Held up by Murray, Karajan. Asking a lot of Mallon, who's already done a power of work in this game. So we tick into the final 10 minutes. Clisby. Hard impact in the air there from Krishna. Shouts at Chris Beath, the referee. Everyone back up without the trainers needing to be called. And the flag is up for offside here against Jordan Murray. It's the 80th minute, so the travelling Phoenix fans, shirts off.
Dear, oh dear.
Muggy, humid weather. This is an away trip they'll never forget. Come on, lad, shirt off. What are you doing? Obviously didn't get the memo.
They're doing well. A few of those boys could do with a bra as well.
Callan Elliott. I'm sure Killian Sheridan would love to net his first A-League goal here tonight with 9 minutes to go, but Phoenix have been held at bay. Clisby. Melling. Mallon tried to turn.
Bit unlucky. Difficult one.
Mombois. Tumbling off balance and ultimately losing possession. Mandy and Elliott. Kupczynski. Mandy, casual as you like. And if this ends up in the back of the net, he'll be laughing as Krishna goes through Graham. It may well, you know. Oh, he's missed it. He's missed the chance at his hat-trick.
And he did the hard part. He's gone past Graham. Terrific flick on from Shepherd. And there's the pace, the directness, and the power of Krishna. And he's done the hard part. Just clips that past Graham, and really goes for the inside, the near post, when really should go across Kennedy there. The whole of that side of the goal was open. What a chance for his hat-trick. To take the outright lead in the Golden Boot.
And so now the Phoenix go again. And the Mariners are reminded that they are still a long way from the relief of full-time. Kakache, Lewis Miller, able to dispossess. Kakaris, the subs combine. Just ran out of ideas, though. No one ahead of the ball for him. 7 minutes plus stoppage to go. Golek. Elias. Kupczynski. Big gap between the defence and the forwards, so Golek tried to go direct. Lewis Miller ended up retrieving the ball. And now Melling. Mallon. It's his right foot like. We're not going to find out because it's another left foot delivery. This one swings over to Kakaris. It's Peter Kakaris. And it breaks the hands initially of Curto, but he recovers without too much fuss. It's going to be hard to retrieve and does evade Sarpreet Singh. As you see there, the highest aggregate score in an A-League match. Adelaide against the North Queensland Furies, also the biggest margin of victory or defeat. And tonight is now 1 goal away from tying the all-time record. You'd hate to come this far and miss out. Mombois. Melling. And out of the corner of his eye, hoping for Mallon. The youngster Elliott. He's had plenty of work to do after getting subbed on to make his debut. It's a night he won't forget, Callan Elliott. You imagine it's quite different out there compared to Tasman United versus Waitakere or Hawke's Bay United. The result here is a Phoenix ball.
You have to give those young players some credit. It's going. Wellington scored that 7th. The Mariners have come back and restored a little bit of pride. The likes of Lewis has come on. Mombois in particular have done a really good job.
Looks like Gianni Stensness ready to make his A-League debut. Young man from the northern suburbs of Sydney who had to go to the Phoenix to get his shot at the A-League. ...20 years old, signed out of the NPL where he was with Manly United. So, of course, well known to Mark Radan, who himself was coaching Sydney United for a number of years in opposition. And it is Mandy who will make way to give another debut tonight to Gianni Stensness. It's 3 minutes plus stoppage to show what he can do. Goes Kopczynski. Mallon. Mombois. Waits for the right pass, but he can't hit Karajan, and instead it's Stensness. Melling. So Sheridan, but he can't beat Burgess. And Burgess continues to show he's got gas in the tank. Numbers ahead of the ball for him. Sheridan, no, but Singh, yes! It's 8-2. We've hit double figures total, and it is the equal highest scoring game in A-League history.
Well, the mistake here's from Melling. That pass mishit as he's trying to go through the middle of the park. Tries to take Burgess, had an excellent game. And you think, is he going to find the right pass or is he going to get the right run? And Shepherd, right through the middle, his first touch took him away, but he just gets that toe. That's a really good finish from Singh under pressure. Burgess waiting, looking. Good pass, and then he's just off balance, manages to get that toe, so you get an assist. Singh doesn't really think too much about that, just puts his boot right through it and smashes into the back of the net. And they've got 8. And 8 at home in your own ground is not acceptable. And when it happened in round 27 last season, there was vows from the club that it would never happen again. Well, it's happened here, and it's simply not good enough.
Well, Robbie, it sort of begs the question, what do you do once you've well and truly passed the point of no return, which was probably a while ago?
Well, the first thing you have, and which is non-negotiable, is players that are, you know, not scared, no fear. There's no relegation. I know we keep saying that, but there isn't. And I'm not putting the blame on the young players, far from it. I'm putting on, you know, you have to point at the...
Here goes Sheridan. This is for all the records. Sheridan! Oh, he went and tried to do the team thing, and it's behind for a corner.
Should have went on himself. He's trying to set up Krishna for the hat-trick. Good speed, and that was so close, and should have been number 9. In behind. They're not going to catch him, and see Singh at that point. He's done well, Graham, to cover him, to be fair. But I think Shepherd should have taken that on himself. Sheridan, sorry. I think I made that mistake last time I was calling.
Dare I say this? It's his 10th game. He hasn't scored.
And I'm calling him Shepherd still.
Well, but is Killian Sheridan a striker down on confidence?
Look, I think
you expected him for all money to score?
Yeah, look, I think he should have taken it on himself, and maybe that's a little bit, but maybe he's thinking the team game and trying to get Krishna a hat-trick. Not so sure that was the case, but anyway, it's a chance to get the 9th.
Maybe his assist bonus is high. Here comes the corner. Is there a 9th? And it rolls agonisingly through the 6-yard box for another corner. 30 seconds of 3 minutes stoppage expired. Sheridan, the Irishman. Short corner. Max Burgess may not have scored, but he's certainly had a blind up, and he wins yet another corner here.
Yeah, I imagine there'll be big meetings at Central Coast Mariners this week. The coaching staff and the players and everyone involved. And you know, there's pressure on everyone. It's simple as that. It's just not good enough. Forget about the fact there's no relegation.
In comes the corner. Saved, denied, so close to the 9th. And Kennedy, well, a frank assessment of his defensive support there as it's thrown in quickly. Sarpreet Singh, a shimmy of the hips. You can see the Phoenix are absolutely hunting this goal. Burgess over the head of Sheridan. So it's retrieved by Kakache, but just under 90 seconds to try and do it. Singh, Kakache, and the touch was too heavy. Picked up by Kennedy. Clisby to Melling. Mallon. Karajan. Given there were 5 yellow cards in the first half, I suppose it is a credit that we haven't had a red card in this game. Well, so many players walking the tightrope. So easy to lose your discipline when a game is gone this early. Now, the run continues from Kakeris, but then he wheels away. Wanted to play the cross instead. Sheridan has got Krishna hanging off the last defender. Here comes the pass. Kennedy's off his line. His half volley is true. Durante appeared to lead with the arm, and the foul is given. So just seconds to go. You fancy that the chance for 9 has gone, unless Chris Beath wants to go beyond the additional 3. Karajan. Mombwa. As the boos ring out, it isn't necessarily rock bottom. The Phoenix are flying. They boost their goal difference. Mike Mulvey is ushered hurriedly down the tunnel. And Sam Graham, whose own goal started this procession of scoring, 10 in a single game, the highest equal scoring game in the A-League. But he suggests there's only more pain on the way for Central Coast. Phoenix revive their home final and top 6 hopes. It finishes Central Coast Mariners 2, Wellington Phoenix 8. And Mark Rudan with the conceding of 2 goals, and also